that rolls into our topic here. We're going to talk about the vaccine. The vaccine and also just like getting the vaccine, right? Because like vaccines are a very controversial topic among Black people, but really among the world. And that's been a very controversial topic. I mean, full disclosure, I didn't expect them to have a vaccine this fast. I just didn't think they'd be able to do it. But science is an amazing thing. So first, salute to all the scientists that worked tirelessly and effortlessly. Now, I think like some of the regulations and all that on some of these vaccines is costing people's lives. Like the fact that we have to have like 8 different like a council and then like the FDA itself and the CDC approve a vaccine. Why can't they all do that tonight? Why does it have to take a couple days? Like people are getting infected like every day. People are dying every day. Like I get it. Like there's like
gotta make sure it's good.
I'm about to say
they already determined it's good. They already determined it's good. Like that's like it's been approved. Like the FDA's advisory panel said it's good. Now the FDA has to approve it. Why is that 2 separate processes?
But I feel like that was wasn't an emergency authorization though.
I mean, well, yeah,
so in that case, you still gotta.
I don't know. It's not like we're just canceling. Like, our budget numbers came in a little low. Let's throw some on the calendar next week to talk about it, right? It's a little bit more of an important situation than to just say, we'll just take care of it next week.
Or we can look into what's the normal process for the FDA though. I feel like it's way more lengthier than a couple of days.
Oh, it's a government agency. It's a government agency, so there's nothing but red tape just in general.
Yeah, so I mean, if you can accomplish something in less than a week versus 2 years, I think that's a vast.
This is a vaccine that...
You know what I mean? That's a quick pipeline.
Well, yeah, so anyway, let's get into all the vaccines. Right now we have 3 vaccines available in America. Well, soon to be 3. Right now we have 2. We have the Moderna and we have the Pfizer vaccine. And those have been tested. Those are out in the wild right now. I mean, depending on where you live and whatever state you live in, there's processes for that. I was able to get pre-registered in Virginia. And I think I'm actually part of the 1B group, so because I have asthma. So
dang, man.
I'm on one.
Yeah.
Dang, man.
So like hopefully I get the call soon and like, it's really good. And I mean, DC's, they're crushing it even though they had a really tough time the last couple of days because I think they opened it up, basically open season like this week, but their website is really bad because DC government, like I feel like infrastructure stuff like that, like sometimes it's like they're made like it's tough for them to get the best
it was something wrong with the
interfaces and all that
system.
But I'm sure they'll fix that pretty soon. And Maryland's doing good. I mean, like I have both my grandparents have already gotten their shots. Like my nana's in nursing room. She already got 2 of her Pfizer shots. My papa already got one of his. He's getting the other one soon. So I think we've been doing pretty good in this area and at large as a whole with the vaccines. Compared to the rest of the world. The rest of the world, like I know in Europe, it's like moving kind of at a snail's pace. They're having issues with the AstraZeneca vaccine. But right now, again, we have the Moderna, we have the Pfizer, and the J&J just got approved. So the Moderna and Pfizer, I think those are the ones that are most popular, right? Because everybody looks at that efficacy number. I think they're both up over 90%.
Yes.
And the J&J is in the 60%. But so first of all, I want to preface all this entire conversation just about that. So one thing I read today in the New York Times is that the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccines were tested in a different world than the J&J one was. I think the trials for that, they were centralized and they were before we had variants. The J&J was tested all over the world in a world with the variants. So that's why that efficacy number is lower, right? Mm-hmm. So like realistically, the Moderna and Pfizer in the real world, their efficacy number might be around the same, if not a little better than what the J&J is. So a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't want the J&J. It's only 60%." Well, it's not apples to apples.
Yeah, because I mean, Moderna just came out with a press release because they had their earnings report yesterday, and they released it saying that they're working on another formula for other COVID variants. So yes, you're right, Aaron.
Boosters.
They're getting booster shots. So that's another, I guess, obstacle that we may have to face down the road is that you got 2 Moderna shots and now, hey buddy, we need one more jab. You know what I mean? That type of thing.
So like basically, I guess we'll start with
that's the lay of the land of this shit.
Like, yeah, I think we set the table pretty. How does everybody feel about vaccine? Personally, I'm excited. I can't wait to get. I got a text message today. Virginia sends you like a weekly text message after you've.
You're now.
I thought like I was like, oh shit, I got it, but no, just like a a message.
Hey, buddy,
We're
still
still
there.
here. Right.
So
Hang
Ain't
in
forget
there.
about you.
Right.
So how
Hang
does
in there.
everybody
Like Netflix still watching?
Right.
How
Still
does
need that
everybody
vax.
feel about getting vaccinated? Like, do you have a preference? Are you like against getting one of the vaccines in particular? Are you? I've seen some people say, "Oh, never get the Johnson & Johnson one." It's only like 60%. And again, I would encourage everybody just to like read a little bit more about what that means, because like a flu shot that a lot of people get every year is like 50%.
They don't even know what strain of flu is going to
But
be.
they basically guess about that. So, just saying, like 60% is good. The Johnson & Johnson, like it's 100% effective against hospitalization and death. So, like you get it, you're good. Like you might contract COVID, but I mean,
You won't die, nigga.
we got
Aaron worked for Johnson & Johnson, in case you already know.
Single moment.
No, I just work. I just want to get back to normal as quickly as possible. That's all. For any good news. Good news is great news for me.
I missed the train. Yeah, no.
You know what they just say that.
Bro, I legit do.
You
Nah,
missed the what?
the train, nigga.
The metro, the hustle and bustle. He missed the rats.
This nigga, we ain't going back to the train for a long time.
Well,
That was
some
a
niggas still
sanitary
ride the
train.
train. Some niggas still ride the train.
I'm about to say
That's
that.
so
It runs
gross.
every day.
Just think about how many hands has been touching that joint. How many? Oh,
No,
I
that's-
can't believe we was doing
Well,
that.
I mean,
before.
you know, it's
I can imagine.
It's not
how
how
close we
rush
were,
hour.
bro.
Yeah, rush hour. We was literally like neck to neck.
That's how I caught most of my colds. I'm sure.
Right.
Cool, yeah. Stay in your house.
Go ahead.
Chance.
Go ahead, doctor.
No, I was saying, no, I agree with Aaron. Shoot, I want to get vaccinated, and I'm tired of this mess. It's like, bro, for a lot of this stuff, it's like, it don't end until you get vaccinated. So, I mean, shoot, until people get vaccinated, might as well do it. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting around in your house, though. Not now. Some people will just go out and live their lives regardless. Some people just don't care. But, I mean, it's like, you know, if you want to sit around and be able to do things with a little less weight on your shoulders, this is kind of like the only way. Like, bro, like, you know, if you like want to go see your grandparent or something like that, nigga, I mean, this is kind of like the only way. Like, you know, your grandmother get vaccinated, and then you probably want to get vaccinated to make sure that you're not spreading. You know, I know they got all these different things about transmission, but you know, you would, so that you can at least curb your chances of spreading something to her. You know, or him, if your grandfather, whatever. I'm just saying, like, you know, I'd be excited about all this type of stuff. Like, I kind of just get upset because I'm like, dang, man, I ain't got no issues. I don't work for the government. I ain't never gonna be able to get me no vaccine, bro. Yeah, I'm about to say, like, it's just the way that stuff
Couple
goes.
more months, we'll be in open season.
I'm about to say, yeah. Probably, hopefully, end of spring, summer,
Yeah.
summer. I feel like.
Definitely about summer.
I think I bring a unique experience to it
Mhm.
because my girl is a nurse, so she's gotten both of her shots already. Like, so she's gotten the Pfizer.
Mhm.
I don't know, man. Like, you know, I don't want to scare anybody, but you know, just from my first-hand accounts, I'm just gonna come out there and say, like, I'm gonna get the vaccine. I'm confident in getting it because I think it's part of like a bigger moral obligation in terms of like doing my part for society in a way, because like being sick and having a cold, you know what I'm saying, and you know, just being out in the weather, I never thought that I was gonna be able to, you know, hurt someone else by having a cold. You get what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we push through, we go to work, that type of thing in normal society.
Yep.
But if I got COVID, or if I had the possibility of being asymptomatic, I would feel some type of way if somebody was, you know, if you guys are impacted, or a family was impacted, or anyone of my loved ones or friends were impacted. So, like, from a moral standpoint and a moral obligation, I want to get the vaccine because, you know, I want to, you know, to Dante's point, to Aaron's point, I want to get back to normal as soon as possible, and you know, not add to the death toll unknowingly, or add to people being sick and being uncomfortable. So that's where I'm coming from. From a second account, from that second point, you know, the first that vaccine, from what I saw, she was, you know, it was cool. But then the second one, from what I'm hearing a lot of people, was that's where it really hits you. People have like chills or have a fever.
A day or two, right?
Yeah, that's about a day. So like, you know, she had it for like a day, and like during that night it was pretty rough. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you had chills and you got a fever. Then the next day, you know, you don't feel too bad because I mean your immune system just had a big old fight. You know what I'm saying? To learn how to fight the COVID, variant or COVID in general. And then the next day you feel fine. So, you know, that's what everybody hopefully can expect. Yeah, you know,
Before
it's
the
like
weekend.
Get in the morning, so
Yeah.
they'll fight it all night.
or just put a
during
day
that
off.
night.
Yeah, do it like on a Friday weekend.
Friday, get that weekend.
Yeah, get that weekend to relax and rest, because it's gonna be a fight. You know what I mean?
In your body.
In your body.
To go to the club.
It's
that
fight
night.
night. It's fight night. It's prime time. Make
Right.
sure you got some fluids and you got some Tylenol.
For sure.
Don't make no reservations that night. You
Nah,
ain't
you
going
ain't
to
going
dinner. You
nowhere.
staying home.
Stay in
home,
bed.
man.
Make sure you
Get
might
back.
have a little Netflix movie or something that you use Madonna to watch because you're gonna be in the bed. So,
Yeah.
but that's how I feel.
Well, for me, I'm similar to like y'all said. I mean, first off, like when it was kind of first introduced, saying like, "Hey, we're working on a vaccine. It's coming." Like, I was surprised like that it was this fast coming out, and also that kind of added to the hesitancy, right? Like that's like, okay, like damn, how they come up with a vaccine this fast? But then I think the wake up call was, for me, for one, like I came to the realization like a lot of people were comparing it to pandemics of the past or whatever, but like as we move forward through time, one thing that like that helped me kind of get more comfortable with it is like technology has advanced, medical science has advanced. Like they're able to produce this a lot faster than we assume that we think. Like we think we know how long it takes them to do it, but I'm assuming technology has advanced to allow them to produce this, which clearly it has. Like they're giving this to millions of people at this point. And another thing too, like similar to what y'all saying, it was really like not necessarily for myself. I don't really have any like pre-existing conditions, but it was mainly for my family, like for my parents, my grandmother, just all that stuff. Like realizing that my me being like just that whole asymptomatic aspect of it, and I know that people debate that side of it, but like that whole side of it, the possibility of me transmitting that to them, like just scared the hell out of me. So so that really like pushed me to whatever we had to do to kind of get back to normal, and for me at least to like do my due diligence, because that's how I see it, as due diligence to not spread that and to make sure that your peoples around you are good and healthy and that you're not exposing them to anything like that. So yeah, that's my thing. I'm actually pretty not excited, but I'm looking forward to getting that vaccine too. I don't have any pre-existing conditions, so it might be a while, but like definitely looking forward. Miss traveling. Last year was the first year I ain't traveled anywhere like in a while. We ain't get our bros tripping, man. Like it's a lot of things that I'm
We got
excited.
double trip up, man.
Right, we definitely got a double trip, man. So yeah, that's just how I feel about it, man. And it like I said, it did take a while, like just getting comfortable, and just even with the president at the time, like.
Oh yeah, and I remember we had a debate.
Yeah, we had that debate.
We had a debate, and I was just like, it's not like
Right.
Trump is in
Right,
the lab
right,
making
right.
them putting Cheetos and shit in it.
Right.
Like,
Aaron was like, yo, don't worry about him.
It's gonna be
Science is
great.
science. I'm like, yeah, science is science.
Everybody loves Cheetos.
I want more RNA.
Right,
More.
right.
Hold on, let me get a little dust in there.
Right. Spring some cheese in there.
This is how we make powder puffs, right? No,
Yeah.
the powder puff goes on.
Sugar, spice.
Yeah, everything nice.
Yeah.
I just made that.
But just his loudmouth being like, yo, yeah, get these vaccines, get these vaccines. I'm like, I don't like anything this nigga's saying. So when the scientists got to saying that, and they started giving people the vaccine, and people have continued, like millions of people have been vaccinated, even in the black community as well. A lot of people have been vaccinated. That all I know in DC, I think. They got through a lot of people 65 and over.
Oh yeah,
and
no,
all,
they've
and all those groups.
crushed it.
And the nursing homes was going down rapidly.
Right.
Shout out to Cuomo.
Right. I think people just want to live, man. I just want to live.
I know. I'm joking.
Just want to live.
But yeah, so and again, I mean, it's really interesting though. Like all four of us feel the same way, because I don't think like if you just take a random sampling of people in general, but also black people, I don't know if you would get like 100%. Oh yeah, vaccine, yeah, go for it. 'Cause I feel like in general, even though I will say, I saw a study the other day that said like the most likely demographic of people to not want the vaccine are white Republicans. So yeah,
Scary, right?
Trump has done a lot, like to.
He poisoned
Like,
his own
yeah,
blood.
I'm about to say, he's really ruined a lot, but
56% of white Americans are unsure will not get vaccinated, according to a study that was on Axios.
So the way I feel about, like to your point, Aaron, like, especially like black and minorities, I feel like a lot of like our age, millennials, and our generation are not as skeptical as like our older generation, and those unfortunately those are the most vulnerable ones, because I mean they've seen it all, like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
They've seen the tricks, and they've seen the what was it, syphilis that
With the Tuskegee.
Tuskegee, like that in itself.
I've also just seen America.
That too is very untrustworthy.
Ironically, I think
some of it actually kind of depending on how you look at it. I think some of it actually kind of runs counter to what you say, depending on what you look at. Because I see plenty of actually like young people that'll be like, hell no.
I was about to say that when he finished. I was gonna say that when he finished.
Yeah. It's yeah.
I mean, it's two, but it's two sects though.
Yeah,
so it's like
some millennials, yeah.
There's some millennials that think, from hopefully from I don't even want to say this, but I was gonna say like educated because that's I don't even think because that could be
education doesn't have to be offensive, but I understand what you're saying. Go ahead.
But I think that like there's two divisions of it. They got two people that I'm young and I'm not vulnerable, I'm invincible, boom. Right. There's some people that that we're discussing in this podcast that I'm not even looking at that type of thing. I'm talking about the next person. I'm talking about the vulnerable person that is 26 or my age and has asthma, like Aaron, you know what I mean? Like or my grandparents that that I want to see or that type of thing. It's like it comes down really to not even an educated thing. I'm gonna erase that. I'm gonna say it comes down to a just not being selfish and having a moral standard from it. Because I mean, to me, that's just selfish. Like honestly, I get it if you don't want to take the vaccine because you just don't want to and you're not doing well with shots, and that's your decision to make. Because whatever goes in your body, that's on you. You know what I mean? I get it.
I also think it also depends on how what's your how much you expose yourself to what is happening in COVID. Like if most people aren't like me. Like I spend lots of time reading about vaccines and COVID. Like I've spent hours upon hours. I follow so many top scientists. Like literally the day after I get vaccinated, I'm literally unfollowing all these people and I'm gonna be so excited. But I spend so much time reading on them. But most people aren't like that, right? Some people might occasionally look up to see what's going on with COVID. And then there's people who just literally they're just living their lives, right? People that work hard and just working 24/7, so they don't have time to be on Twitter and see what see what any of these Twitter scientists are saying, or they don't have time to go and watch TV and see. So if people don't even really know what the vaccines are, they might just see, oh, well, that vaccine's 65% effective. Oh, well, I just don't want it, right? It's just you just don't know what you don't know. You just see vaccine. Oh, I'm already kind of hesitant on that, and then I don't know too much, and then I might just see, oh, well, cases are going down anyway, so I need it. So I think it's an information thing as well. That's how much information, and I think that's also kind of the thing with COVID. Unless I think for a lot of people, more people than you think. They're not even concerned. They're just living their lives. COVID is just in the background or everything. I wear a mask when I go around. But I just think for some people, if you don't go out and look for the information outside of I gotta wear a mask when I go inside, and no one in your family's gotten COVID, is that even on your radar getting vaccinated? You might hear it in the noise, but you're well, when I get. And I think that's a lot of people, right? It's just they just don't have the information. Not everybody sits on Twitter and follows NBC or follows ABC. Some people just follow basketball accounts, or they follow hair accounts, or just go on IG and watch Jen Hilarious videos, and they're not getting any information about
just hilarious.
Whatever.
Shout out to Jen.
Our counterpart. I'm just making sure we get it right.
And I think that's more kind of the issue, is just going out and explaining to people. People who just hear, oh, there's a vaccine. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing too, a lot of people just a big argument you hear from a lot of people is, oh, I'm gonna just wait and see, kind of wait until it affects more people. But they you're saying, they're going about their daily lives, working and stuff like that. They're not seeing that millions of people have already received this vaccine. And
right, they have no idea.
Covered, and everything.
And it doesn't help when the media, and again, I've been beating this drum for a while, when if there is one allergic reaction that happened in Yakima, Washington, 1 out of 20 million, 30 million people have been vaccinated. Oh, someone died, they got the COVID vaccine. No, we're not just saying it's bad. We got to report it. This person died right here.
One thing I don't see.
She was 87 years old and she was on the verge of death anyway, but she got the COVID vaccine 4 weeks ago and she's dead, just saying. And then somebody will see that, see?
But then you got
that with Hank Aaron.
But then you got to even it out
with Hank Aaron. Not the news.
But then you got to even it out with the 100-year-old lady that, got COVID and beat it, and then also got the vaccine, and she's still kicking. So I mean,
I'm just saying, people harp on this. I've had conversations with people that are hesitant about stuff like that in general, and had a conversation a couple of days ago, and I heard someone died from it. I was like, one, do you know they died from it? Were they already going to die from some type of other disease, and they just happened to get the vaccine at the same time? Just the heart failure finally just got them, or was it the vaccine who did it? Well, no, they said they died from COVID. Who is they? But like, that's not important. That's not an important question. But I'm just saying, like,
and two on the other side, they die from COVID as well. Like, so, like, it's
I think the wild part about it is like, if you really break it down and you're educated to know that, like, most surgeries are high risk. You know what I'm saying? So like, you mean to tell me that if a doctor came to you and said he can try to save your life, but there's a potential that you could die, you wouldn't take that procedure? Same goes for this vaccine. But I'm just saying, like, the vaccine, it comes with risk. So, you know what I mean? Like,
and the risks are very minimal. Like, let me emphasize that compared to surgery. Like,
I don't know, but you can go get a routine endoscopy, and something could happen with the anesthesia. Like, I'm just saying, that's a less than 1% chance. Mm-hmm. Same applies to this vaccine. So like, you gotta really kind of like look at it. It's risk reward in this, in this world. You know what I mean? So
I think that's it's just in general with COVID. People are really bad at judging the risk reward of things right there. Like, nothing in COVID, whether it's a vaccine or whether it's COVID or whether it's doing anything in a pandemic, is zero risk. Zero risk does not exist at all in life right now. And that's a whole nother discussion. Like, if you look around, like, you see, like, a lot of governors are kind of just like, well, shit, man, like, we're kind of gonna have to, like, we've been locked down for like a year now. Like, New York, Boston, Philly, they're all, because it's just like, shit, man, like, at some point we're vaccinating people. Yeah, we have variants are scary, and, we have scientists working against the vaccine, working against the variants, but again, that risk analysis, like, we have to get comfortable with doing that. Like, I read a great article about this guy named Matt Iglesias. I follow on Twitter. He's really smart. And basically, he was saying, COVID is never, like, the CDC, Dr. Fauci is never going to come out and say, oh, COVID's over. That's just not how that works.
That's not how the pandemic works.
That's not how medicine works, right? Like, basically what he was saying is, like, the CDC is not going to come out and say, oh, they're always, no matter how many cases, because COVID's not going to go away. It doesn't matter if there's like 10 cases per million people. They're always going to be, the guidance is going to be wear a mask, wash your hands, social distance. Eventually the government... Huh?
I don't like that.
Like, what do you mean?
Like what?
You saying that we gotta wear, like, that they would say we gotta wear
No, I'm saying,
some
like...
people already still gotta wear a mask for a little
No, but...
I would say at some point...
Listen, though. What I'm saying is, like, it's already happening now. The governors are going to be like, okay, that's cool. Because, like, the CDC, if you go on the CDC's website...
It's probably so many.
They tell you don't eat runny eggs. Every steak you eat is well done. They're doctors.
I like my runny eggs.
Because if you go to CDC, there's a lot of
like good Benedict. Though.
You can't eat no fucking no chicken after 2 days after being refrigerated.
Like, they're like literal zero risk people in general.
I don't know about that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's certain everybody's at risk of salmonella.
No, that would be true. Actually,
don't eat no leftovers after a week. Like, none of that shit like that.
A week, nigga.
Don't leave your fish out to cool down after you cook it, because bacteria can get on it.
Like, literally, it's about...
They're like your mom. They're like a helicopter parent.
Yeah, they have guidance that said, like, if you go to the bar, you're not supposed to have more than 2 drinks. Like, they're literally zero risk.
They haven't met my liver.
So, like,
who said that?
Who said that?
I'm kidding, Dad.
But yeah, so, like, the thing is, like, COVID, like, is not going to end. So that's why, take your vaccine, and then eventually things, like, the quicker... It's looking good. Like, I have on the dock, light at the end of the tunnel, right? Like, the spring, we're still going to be working through it. By summer, we're on track to be really good for the summer. So, the only thing we can do is get your damn vaccine when it's your time, right? It don't cost, really not an inconvenience. I understand people, I understand people work and, but, like, just try to get that vaccine. Do your research. If you don't feel comfortable about it, do your research. And if you decide you don't want to get it, fine. But just don't out and out just say, oh, I don't want it. Like, give her, you don't have to give me shit, but
prove it to me.
Like, prove it to me. Give me a thesis. But, like, just do your research, do your due diligence. At the end, you determine, like, the cons outweigh the pros for you. Okay. Shit. That's
one thing I read, too, because obviously we have to address the elephant in the room, the skepticism from, at least from the African-American community. I know we gave the white Republican numbers, but we know for sure, like, there's some skepticism within the Black community. I think one thing that I saw that was a tip for, like, engaging with those communities, really just kind of like, not like an each one teach one, but like us kind of reaching out to our peers and to our relatives, especially because like we said earlier, like it's a lot of the older generation who kind of have this whole distrust, and some millennials as well, who because of the things that their parent or their upbringing or whatever, the things that the people that are around them, they just don't think it's a serious issue. Like, hey, we're all fine. Like we're going to the club and I came home and I'm just fine. Like saw my grandma the other day, she's doing just fine. So like what, like COVID ain't no like real issue.
Grandma, you went to the club.
Yeah, some niggas that do this. Go to the club Saturday, see grandma Sunday. You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't help like when, you know, you see on the news like the CDC and Dr. Fauci are just like, oh, after you get your vaccine, nothing changes, just stay home and like never leave.
Right.
So, like that doesn't help
point,
either.
right.
It's very demoralizing. I would
Like,
say.
that doesn't help either. Like the messaging for like, all this is really bad. Like if you're vaccinated, if we all get vaccinated, I don't have any. I mean,
Why the fuck?
like I mean, just like
masks?
we're straight.
Yeah.
Like fuck.
Right.
I mean, I'm not gonna say like I'm not ever gonna wear a mask again. Like
We're
yeah,
gonna
I mean, I
have to.
think you're
We're
gonna
gonna
have
have
to.
those places.
You're gonna have to
Yeah.
wear masks in public for a while. I've come to terms with that. But like when I'm just with other like why could I give a fuck? Like
At least you know you're good. Like
Yeah.
especially when you're going over around those.
Everybody
Everybody with
with
your badge out.
I think another caveat I think that we might not be looking at is like when we talk about herd immunity and we talk about vaccinations. I think that like my message for people that are listening is just like don't be like when we talk about voting and we talk about the election, don't be the person that doesn't get vaccinated or like the person that didn't vote because they think that my vote wasn't gonna like matter. You know what I mean? Like don't be that person that's like my vaccination is not gonna matter. Like cases are going down. Like everybody else is doing their
Your
part,
vax
quote
matters,
unquote.
bro.
Your vax matters, bro.
Your vax
Like don't be that person that's just like, if I don't get vaccinated, like everybody else will just be good, so then I won't get it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna just hold out till everybody else gets it, and then they can't give it to me, so I'm good. No.
Why does
Because
their vaccination matter?
I think that vaccination matters because if we all have that same mentality that if Aaron feels the same way that I feel like my vaccination don't matter, then you gonna feel that way. And then so like we just gotta all just do our part, man. Like
I just think it's important to say why, like when it comes to this type of shit. You tell a nigga don't like, or
Right.
like,
Why?
like why?
We all gonna be like,
you know
you
what
know
I'm saying?
what I'm
Like,
I mean, because it's just like literally, you're just you might not think you're a threat, but you can be a threat,
Right.
right? I mean, like
I think the
Yeah,
biggest
we
things with
all
all peer
keep
group
buying
is
weapons.
just think about the older people in your family, like your parents and shit. Like I think that's really when you really
we all know somebody
it's
that's
close
been,
to home.
and that's the
At
crazy
this point,
part.
we all
know somebody that's been impacted by
Probably.
COVID.
Maybe.
Unfortunately, either or know somebody that has or know somebody that has been negatively impacted, like not just being sick, but maybe like being very sick and prayerfully has recovered.
Mhm.
But like at this point, it's so rampant in our community and so rampant in our society that we know somebody that has passed away or has been really sick, and like use it as a learning tool. Like don't let their death or their hardship go in vain. Like that person could have lived if somebody maybe have followed that that protocol a little bit better, or could have had their mask on.
Right.
And I'm not saying it could have been a fluke, but like all this mess that we're in is really because we're not doing it. Not even 100% of the time, 90, 80% of the time. You know what I mean? So let this be a lesson to learn for the future and for our generation to come behind us. Like we gotta take stuff serious, man. Like it's not a joke. Like this is a wake up call for America and for the rest of the world that we are. I think we at some point, before COVID happened, man. Like I felt like we were just very like as a society and just as a population very lackadaisical with a lot of things. Like when it came to what was it? Shoot, what was the pandemic before? Huh? Johnson.
Oh, swine flu.
Bird flu, swine flu. Johnson. Like, you know what I'm saying? We saw it in the news, and I'm not gonna lie to myself. Like, I saw it on Twitter, I was like, oh, it's not gonna affect me.
They said they nothing of it.
And the same thing when we saw COVID. Like, I looked at COVID and I was like, all right, swine flu. Like, it is what it is. Like,
all right,
SARS.
it's in China. Like,
Right.
it'd be good.
That's
You know
cool.
what I'm saying?
And then I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, like this is getting close to home. Like, so then we can't do that no more. It's done. We can't do that no more. Like something happens again, we gotta jump on that thing like a grenade, bro.
I'm so glad that we're doing this virtually. We're all in our
Absolutely.
computers right now.
Yep.
Like, we're not all sitting next to each other. Of course.
Goddamn cut.
Hypocrites.
We gotta
Look at the camera.
get rid of all the video
I
evidence.
wanted to jump in so bad. I was like,
Shut the fuck up.
You taking it seriously?
Hey, we taking it serious?
We've all been vaccinated. So,
Dante makes his own vaccine.
Vaccine. It's called the vaccine.
I got the first
Johnson
Johnson & Johnson. Here's my tail. Sorry about that. I'm playing.
Okay.
Oh. Man said, here's my tail.
I would expect.
Well, wait, if I get the tail and I get to be vaccinated from the virus, I mean, it's still a half win, right?
Like, you want a tail?
Maybe.
You would be afraid.
It wouldn't be a cool tail. Have you
I'm
seen
gonna say having a tail.
Have you seen like Shallow Hal? Has anyone seen that movie before?
Which one?
I have, but I can't remember about it.
Yeah, Jason Alexander from Seinfeld's in that movie, and like his friend, and he has a tail in that movie.
He has a tail.
It's like a little dog tail at the end.
Oh,
It's just awkward, bro. It's like having your dick
I
out.
thought you meant like I could get like the Kakarot.
No, you gonna have a little
Oh
that
no.
moves.
It's still awkward, buddy.
Yeah, but it's been in so many Dragon Balls.
How do you explain it? I guess you and your girl been together long enough where, like, I mean, she's just with you, so I mean, it's not like you gotta meet new people, but I mean, shit.
Nigga, even still, I don't want to have a tail.
If
You
probably
just
don't
said
look-
you wanted a tail. You can't change
It
it.
probably is not gonna look as cool as the cartoon. Your ass hair is gonna be out.
Bro, like, you would have to, you have to ruin, you can't buy nice pants, you just ruin them afterwards.
You know what? Never mind. Tail
And then it's gonna be like the opposite of like being like having puberty and having a random boner, because like your tail's just gonna
Your tail looking a little
I'm about to
stiff,
say,
man.
like, you
Then
got
I'm wrapping around my waist like in Dragon Balls. Basically, I'm basing all my decision on Dragon Balls.
no cartoon.
Good way to live. Good way to live.
All right, so we had to tell Dante actually is a COVID vaccine denialist. Okay, as you can tell by what he's saying, he's not the smartest, but you know we fed him some lines. He's
He's
been
called me a
doing well.
denialist and then said I'm not the smartest.
Wow.
You mean a denier, number one, but then
I'm ignorant.
Denialist is a word. What do you mean?
Denier. Shut up.
I've never heard denialist in my life, but
What do you mean? All right, goddamn it.
have you not heard
Yeah,
denier?
that's a word.
Is he just not a
A
denier?
person who does not acknowledge the truth of a concept or proposition that is supported by the majority.
He had his chest out when he said it.
A denier. You.
Wait, is it called denier or denialist?
Denialist. I'm just saying that's what he is.
Denier
The
of-
small minority of very vocal climate change.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
We say denier.
That's
And you hate climate change too? Dang, man.
Hey, what?
You don't think climate change is real?
Yo, I'm in a
Wow.
climate change.
I'm about to say,
Right
bro,
now,
if you don't believe climate change is real, we just went from 30 degrees to fucking 55, 60 today. You tripping.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
done. We done with the
Anything
weather.
else I
You
don't
think
believe?
Biden got a weather machine? You think Biden stole that election, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Stop stealing.
It's
Stop
50
stealing.
60.
Hashtag.
No way.
Anything else you want to throw me under the bus for? Basically, I'm getting you the QAnon
I'm
watchers.
about to say.
You're welcome.
Basically, QAnon people who are watching this, I don't know how you found this podcast. Please get your vaccine.
I don't know how to know you got this
I don't know how you got here. This is not your demographic goal, but like,
And you made it this far. If any of y'all are rich, please sponsor
none of
us.
them are rich. They're all crazy.
I would not be sponsored by QAnon.
Oh wait, no!
You gotta keep your moral integrity.
God, oh my
buddy.
God, no! YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music.
Oh,
now
wait,
it's
no,
good.
they take back some.
They
They
take
take
back
back. No, I was kidding.
Oh, God. And you said stop the steal, bro. You said all the bad
How to
words.
get us blocked,
God
man.
damn, no, the algorithm about to whoop our ass.
Hentations.
We are. You know what? Goddamn. So we had a great.
That's how we gonna end this episode.
We
Go
had a
ahead.
great
man.
discussion about vaccines. Everybody get your vaccine.
Absolutely.
Hentations endorse all the vaccines. No, it doesn't matter which one you get. You're gonna be good. You're
Except for
gonna
the
be
doc scene that they say I made. Don't get that.
Yeah, so
Go ahead.
you'll be good no matter. You'll be safe from severe disease. You'll be safe from
Hospitalization,
So yeah, definitely get that. And again, if you decide not to, just make sure you know you've done your research and you feel confident in your decision to not get the vaccine. Put it that way.
Don't just say no just because you don't want to.
Yeah. Anybody else want to add anything to that? Because I want to finish with a special topic here.
All right. Yeah. You know what? You don't have to be like a person who like makes other people feel bad for not getting vaccines per se, but at the same time, you know, if you are one of those people, it just has to become in your mind, when does this end for you? If you never get a vaccine, when does it end? Because it's one of those things where it's just like, it's ongoing. Like, if you don't get one and then other people think like you, it just becomes, well, when do you think this ends? Like, we just one day all just give up and say, screw it, we're going outside, which some people do believe that. Hey, that's how some people think, but, just remember that. Just, this doesn't end, like, in terms of, like, official capacity and being able to, like, actually live your life again until at least a decent percentage of us do. So don't just count on others to be those decent percentage.
Yeah.
Get out there and do what you can.
Yeah, my 2 cents is just like I was saying, like pretty much the whole episode. Like, just think about like your family, think about the people who are at risk or in those categories. Not necessarily for yourself, but most of the time people our age is that unless you have some pre-existing condition, like we'll probably be fine. But like just think about your loved ones. At the end of the day, you don't want anything bad to happen to them. You don't want them to be exposed. So at least do it for them. And at the same time, like I think it's important, like I was saying before, just to educate our peers, man. Like black people like have a lot of distrust of just America in general, like
institutions, like just institutions. Yeah.
Anything they're rolling out, like, and even just seeing like even though Dr. Fauci has been like pretty, I mean he's been doing good work, but like people just seeing white people just come out and just saying like, hey, like this is the vaccine you guys need to take, like that. Even that, there's some distrust with that amongst some communities. So I mean, like I think it's up to us too to really just reach out to those peers and educate them on why they should get the vaccine and why it's important right now in ending the spread. So I think we just gotta do our part too.
My 2 cents is just think about the fun we're gonna have at the club with mask off play.
That should be
for all you club going listeners right now that love to just go to the club and just enjoy yourself and get a bottle and get a table. This that first song of Mask Off.
Dr. Fauci, like if you want to get black people to get vaccinated, there's your idea.
I might say.
When
the numbers dwindle to like 200 people, like
hold on, the first coronavirus sponsored White House concert, because I know it's gonna be one. Future should be and Kendrick should be president. They need to play mask as a final.
They're gonna have T Grizzly come out and play First Day Out first. Then Future gonna come out and gonna play Mask Off.
Oh my god!
And then Kendrick gonna play All Right. And
just imagine yourself in the club right now and they play Mask Off. And you wear your mask though, you know, because you wear your mask in the club, but then they tell you take your mask off.
Right.
And how does that work in the club? We are all taken men. We're on happy relationships. Mm-hmm. Oh, how does that work in the club?
Hey, when you get twerked on and you gotta put your mask. Hey, let me see you pull your mask down, shorty.
Okay, not too far. All right, cool.
All right, smile. All right, put it back up. All right, we good. We good here.
You just stop.
Yeah,
I'm good.
We good. I know, Bush. It's like a masquerade ball.
Hey,
a masquerade with your mouth covered.
Damn, that's smooth.